Please join me if you're able, in body or spirit. Rise as we sing number 1024, When the Spirit Says Do. You've got to do when the Spirit says do. You've got to do when the Spirit says do. You've got the Spirit says do. You've got to do, oh Lord. You've got to do when the Spirit says do. 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 You've got to sing when the Spirit says to sing. You've got to sing when the Spirit says sing. Come on. You've got the Spirit says sing. You've got to sing, oh Lord. You've got to sing when the Spirit says sing. 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 We're gonna shout. Ready? We're gonna shout when the Spirit says shout. Now you're louder. We're gonna shout when the Spirit says shout. Yeah. When the Spirit says shout, we're gonna shout, oh Lord. We're gonna shout when the Spirit says shout. 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 And we're gonna vote when the Spirit says vote. Yeah. We're gonna vote when the Spirit says vote. When the Spirit says vote, we're gonna vote. Oh Lord, we're gonna vote when the Spirit says vote. Give me your energy. Ready? Spirit says vote. 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 Spirit says
Good morning. I'm Linda Kinney, and I am today's worship associate. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Lancaster. Here we come together to nourish the spirit, connect in love, and act for justice. We welcome you this morning just as you are, whatever your heritage, whatever your faith, whomever you love, however you identify. Today, you are part of this spiritual community. And if this is your first time here, may you soon discover this is also your spiritual home. Please do what you need to feel fully present in this space. Move, sway, dance. If doing something with your hands help you to feel present, please use the hands-on materials on the tables back in the Women's Memorial Room. And a special welcome to all those joining the service this morning on Zoom. And as has become our Zoom tradition, I invite those of you on Zoom to turn on your camera and share a wave together. And all in this sanctuary, let's wave at the camera at the back of the sanctuary to send our greetings. At this time, I would like to introduce the chair of our Board of Trustees, Fred Foster Clark.
I welcome all this morning as well. not just to this space and time, but let us also acknowledge in this sacred space the truth of the land beneath and around us. We are gathered on land once inhabited by people known as the Susquehannock and the Conestoga. We acknowledge the violent legacies of genocide, displacement, and settlement that led to us being here today, and remind ourselves to live humbly in relation with this land and with all the indigenous peoples still living and loving on this continent. Many indigenous people will say all are relatives. May we live into this truth and aspiration together. And now for the chalice lighting.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Lenore Bajar-Dukes, and I serve this congregation as your Director of Lifespan Faith Development, and my pronouns are she and her. And I want to welcome you all to our Democracy Sing-In and Time of Action. This is one of the sacred seasons in our Unitarian Universalist year, the season of rallying for democracy, democracy with a little d. This season is precious. It's part of our Unitarian Universalist principles to sustain democracy. And today, as we turn our attention to what is sacred, what is worthy of attention in worship, today we are turning our attention to the democratic practices, the ways that we uphold together as a community the inherent worth and dignity of every person, the ways that we live into the interdependent web of life of which we are all a part. Today we're going to be doing some singing and some action to put those values into our hearts and into the world. So if you're joining on Zoom, I invite you now, if you have a chalice, to get your chalice out. And if you don't, you can make a hand chalice with a little thumb, or imagine a cup of light. I'm going to first lead us in a chalice lighting from our hymnal, and then into the traditional children's chalice lighting, since this is a service for all ages. At times, our own light goes out and is rekindled by a spark from another person. Each of us has cause to think with deep gratitude of those who have lighted the flame within us. Words of Albert Schweitzer. And then if you can make your cup of light with me, and make your hand into a match. And repeat after me. We light this chalice to celebrate Unitarian Universalism. This is a church of open minds. This is a church of helping hands. This is a church of loving hearts. Together we work for friendship and peace in our world. And you know, in the You and Me song circles, we take that light from the chalice that Linda has lit and we tuck it somewhere, maybe in our hearts or in our pockets. And I want you to actually keep that light with you now. Can you get it out? I see some people have a light in here. We believe actually that every person has a light. Every single person has a light inside you, the light of inherent worth and dignity. We believe in that inherent worth and dignity, and yet we live in a system that does not respect the inherent worth and dignity of every person, right? Right. And so it's even more important to remind ourselves of that light that we have inside each and every person and to shine out there in the world. And sometimes you have to dig a little deep to find it. So where's your light this morning? All right, I see them. This song is from the African American spiritual tradition, This Little Light of Mine.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
Where's your light?
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Now, sometimes somebody might try to blow out your light, and you say, don't. All right? You say that? Don't you
Shine
it out.
I'm gonna let it shine.
What do you say?
Don't you try to put it out. I'm gonna let it shine. Don't you try to put it out. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine.
What if somebody asks you to hide your light under a bushel? What do you say?
No!
Hide it under a basket. No!
I'm gonna let it shine. Hide it under a basket.
No!
I'm gonna let it shine. Hide it under a bushel.
No!
I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine.
Where are we going to shine our lights, friends?
I think everywhere.
Everywhere I go.
Last time. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. 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 Let it
That's right. Now don't blow that out. I want you to tuck that away somewhere, because you're going to need it. We're all going to need it, right? Because these are hard times for a lot of us. So where is your light living inside you right now? I mean, really, where is it? In your heart? In our community. It's not just one light, right? It's shared. Because it's not just a little battery-powered light, even though we use those with our chalices sometimes, right? It's a flame within of truth. It's a flame of conviction. It's the fire of commitment. There is a light that has shone within people working for justice and equity in a better world for as long as there have been humans. It's a light that's shone within people singing the songs that we're going to be singing today, marching against racial terrorism, marching for human liberation. I also mean that flame that tells you that you are worthy, even when voices around you are tearing that worthiness down. There's a light that shines brightly on injustice, and there's a glow and warm even when you're fearful and alone. So I'm really asking in our prayer today, where is your light today? Maybe it feels like a small candle. Maybe it's been guttering in the wind for a little while. Maybe it's a bonfire that family or community sit around to warm their hands and to sing songs. We're here this morning in a world where voting rights are threatened, both in the United States and right here in Lancaster County. We're here when a lot is at stake this election season, not only issues that we care about really deeply, but in some ways the inherent worth and dignity of every person is on the ballot and at stake. We're here at a time and the ways that people are talking about our democracy are trying to tear down that light. So there are high stakes. So we need that light of community and of ourselves individually. And so as Reverend Pat, our lead minister, comes to lead us in a ceremony of joys and sorrows, I invite you to just take a moment. Feel your feet grounded on the ground. Breathe in through your belly. Your body is a bellows, fanning that sacred flame. Your breath keeps it alive in the world. Your breath is ready to swell your voice in song and in speech. Let's share that breath together. Good morning.
Before, as become our custom, before we plant our stones in the sand of healing and compassion, I'm going to say out loud a couple of joys and a concern, and I'm going to start with the joys. One joy, and you may not realize this, but on October 28th, it will have been Reverend Ann Mason's ordination. And some of you know Ann. She was here, for 10 or so years? She was director of the music program and then became a minister. And you all ordained her 10 years ago. And she wanted to say some words. My dear, dear Unitarian Universalists of Lancaster, Lancaster, right? I am grateful to Reverend Pat for the opportunity to bring you my warmest greetings on this special occasion. I wanted you to know that sometimes when a congregation and a minister in training have made a powerful bond, that the work we do together is long-lasting and deeply impactful. That has been my experience of 10 years of ministry. You discovered me as a musician with spiritual leanings. You helped me experience my call. You encouraged me and supported me every step of the way. Thank you. Because of you, I was able to grow fully into my work as an ordained minister. The lessons I learned with you were sometimes wonderful and joyful, and sometimes difficult and searing. But they have all helped me to grow into the minister I have become and to have a fulfilling ministry. She's in Lexington, Massachusetts. We are doing good work together up here, and yet I miss you. I will always hold you dearly in my heart and will hope that you continue to be a congregation who nurtures, who respects, who celebrates, and who does important ministry in the community. These are the words with which that Anne closed her sermon on that important day 10 years ago. They feel as true today to me as they did then. Our work as a community is to continue to search for those who need warmth and to take care of ourselves so that we have warmth and hospitality to offer to all who need a place at the hearth. The pilgrimage of the heart happens in community. It is a road we are all traveling together. Friends, let us rejoice. Be glad that we have each other as companions on the journey. Blessed be with all my love, Reverend Ann Mason. So that's from Ann. We also, I'm going to grab the mic, we also have probably more special guests than I even realized, but one I know about in particular. You may have noticed that outside, the mural is starting to take shape, yes? And we actually have the artists who created the visual concept, yes? Jerry McCready. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm grateful, I'm thankful. My light is burning like a fire. That's my light. I'm shining right there with everybody, with the community, because the Almighty put this in my heart to give to you. And with your help and feedback, we got this to where it is today. So a special thank you, please. A special thank you from my heart. I live right around the block, and I've always seen the walls. I always envisioned work on the walls, and I got to do the work. So thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. Thank you for joining us today. And I understand she'll be doing a little supervision and guidance, right? Because she's right around the corner. And as always, and I'm especially thinking of people both in our own congregation, but also in the wider community and world, a stone of concern for those suffering, whether in mind, body, or spirit. And so at this time, whether you're participating in Zoom, and maybe you have stones and water or sand, and for those in the sanctuary, all are invited in silence, maybe with a little music in the background, but to come in silence and plant those stones in the sand with, and may those shoots spread out of joy and healing and compassion as we think of our joy, sorrows, and complex truths today. All are welcome. Blessings and care to all. So I'm thinking of Lenore's words, right? Spirit says do, Spirit says vote, sing and shout, yes. And sometimes it feels like when we take a single action that we're not doing much, right? It's just my lonely voice. It's just me at the polls. And it can be discouraging if we start going down that rabbit hole, right? But then I think of Higgins. I'm going to tell this story from my good friend, Reverend Chris Bice, who's the minister at the Knoxville, Tennessee UU congregation. He's been there for about 20 years, the Tennessee Valley UU Church. And he wrote about Higgins, a drop with a dream, just a drop in the bucket. Right? Higgins was a drop of water, but like all of us, right? He was no ordinary drop of water. He was a drop with a dream. He lived in a valley where it had not rained in a very long time. So all the lovely green grass was was turning brown. All the beautiful flowers were wilting, and all the trees were starting to droop. Perhaps the effects of climate change, yes. Higgins had a dream that one day the valley would be a beautiful place again. But what could he do? He was just a drop in the bucket. So one day, Higgins decided to travel and tell others about his dream. All the other drops listened very politely, but no one believed that his dream would come true. "Higgins," said one drop, "get your head out of the clouds. You can't spend your whole life dreaming." So Higgins decided he had to do something to make his dream come true. He thought, and one day as he was walking by a rusty bucket, in fact, a bucket, he got an idea. If enough of us drops of water get together in this bucket, there would be enough water to sprinkle on a few flowers to help them grow and become beautiful again. Eagerly, Higgins told everyone his great idea was a great idea, but everyone thought again that he was just being dreamy and foolish. That Higgins is nothing but a dreamer, they said. Higgins decided he had to do something to convince the others that he was right. He said to them, "I don't know about you, but I'm getting into that bucket. I hope some of you will join me. Then there might be enough water to help at least some of the flowers be beautiful again." So Higgins, oh, by the way, there's going to be a lot of kerplunks in this story, and I am hoping for a little lavish piano whenever we kerplunk. But I'm hoping that maybe you can snap whenever there's a kerplunk, because I'm having a feeling someone might help Higgins. So a little kerplunk, or if you're not a good snapper, you can tap on the pew in front of you, right? We want to have everyone be able to participate. So he said, "I don't know about you, but I'm getting into that bucket, and I hope you will join me." Okay, so he ran as hard as he could, and he hopped way up in the air, and he landed with a kerplunk. And there he sat, just a drop in the bucket. For a long time, Higgins was very lonely. It seemed like no one else was going to join him, but after a while, some of the other drops could see that the grass was dying and the flowers were drooping, and what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And they all agreed Higgins shouldn't be left there all alone. So another drop shouted, "I'm going into the bucket with Higgins." And he leaped through the air and he landed kerplunk in the bucket. Then two other drops yelled, "Wait for us," and they landed kerplunk, kerplunk. Then 10 drops started to go, and it was kerplunk, and then 50. Then hundreds of drops from all around just kept going and into the bucket. Boy, it's starting to sound like a rainstorm. And before long, it wasn't just one bucket of water, and it wasn't just 2 buckets of water. There was 4, then 10, then hundreds, and then thousands of buckets of water. Along came a powerful breeze that blew over all the buckets, and all the waters flowed together to make a mighty stream. Everywhere in the valley, water flowed, and eventually the grass turned green, and the flowers bloomed again, and the trees stood tall again and straight. All this happened because just Higgins, one drop, just Higgins had a dream, and others joined him, and the dream came true. So, right, we're not just one drop in the bucket. When we vote, when we stand, when we shout, when we say our truth, others are behind us. Others are with us. Others are doing it too. We're not just a drop in the bucket. So let us go to it. Let's do our thing this season. We're not alone. And may the waters flow. Yes?
Some of of you may know this next song, and if you do, please feel free to sing along or to make motions if there are especially kids or anybody else who wants to make motions with me. You can follow.
Inch by inch, row by row, gonna make this garden grow. All it takes is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground.
Inch by inch, row by row, someone bless these seeds I sow. Someone warm them from below till the rain comes tumbling down.
Pulling weeds and picking stones, man is made of dreams and bones. Feel the need to grow my own, 'cause the time is close at hand.
Grain for grain, sun and rain, find my way in nature's chain, till my body and my brain to the music of the land.
Inch by inch, row by row, gonna make this garden grow. All it takes is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, someone bless these seeds I sow. Someone warm them from below till the rain comes tumbling down.
Let yours grow straight and long, temper them with prayer and song. Mother Earth will make you strong if you give her loving care.
Old crow watching hungrily from his perch in the yonder tree. In my garden I'm as free as a feathered thief up there. Inch by inch, row by row, gonna make this garden grow. All it takes is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, someone bless these seeds I sow. Someone warm them from below till the rain comes tumbling down. One more time, ready? Inch by inch, row by row, gonna make this garden grow. All it takes is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, someone bless these seeds I sow. Someone warm them from below till the rain comes tumbling down. Till the rain comes tumbling down.
Where is your garden? What have you been cultivating in your life? What is that 1 inch, 1 row, 1 packet of seeds that you've been sowing and waiting patiently for? You know, we sing songs. These songs are in our hymnal, some of them, and in the canon of American religious justice-seeking life, because we need music. We need spirit-filling to get us ready to face things that are difficult to face and to get us ready to act. And we need sometimes songs to remind ourselves why we're even in the fight in the first place. So our next song is called Somebody's Hurting My Brother, and it's gone on far too long. Raise your hand if you've sung this. Somebody's Hurting My Brother. This is part of the Poor People's Campaign. This is a song, the Poor People's Campaign, which we've been involved with somewhat, is a national campaign, and there's sort of this movement to have a new canon of songs that can speak to the moment. And this particular one came out of the Poor People's Campaign in North Carolina in a town hall meeting after the Duke Energy coal spill. Now, this coal spill had spilled coal ash into communities, especially into black and brown and poor black and brown and poor white communities that were not able to fight back against environmental racism until they banded together and started to fight back. And this is one of the songs that help people fight back. And it's by Yara Allen, who is the Director of Cultural Arts and theomusicologist for Repairers of the Breach. So in a moment, we're going to be singing about how somebody's hurting my brother and it's gone on far too long. But first, I wanted to hear from you. We wanted to hear from you. What is at stake for you or for your community or in our community this election season? What's at stake? Democracy.
Democracy. Education funding. Body autonomy. Education for all. Pardon? What do you think, Anthony? Coffee? Yeah,
Coffee.
We
All right.
should have reasonable prices for coffee. Fair trade coffee.
The environment, a clean environment, right. Disability rights and inclusion.
Healthcare.
Access to truthful education in schools.
Truthful. Yes.
Okay.
Pardon? Safety for LGBTQ people.
Right. So what is at stake at this election season for you and for us? Let's think about that and carry that with us as we sing this song. Eli, can you teach it to us?
There's a little bit of prep, and I'm going to need help from the congregation. So, does anyone want to sing? Yeah. So the song goes, somebody's hurting my brother, and it's gone on far too long. It's gone on
Far too long.
It's gone on
Far too long.
Somebody's hurting my brother, and it's gone on
Far too long.
And we won't be silent.
And we won't be silent
anymore. Great.
And we're going to help the congregation, you all, sing those parts.
Alan, can I get an E major? So. This is what they paid. So we try our best to clap on beats 2 and 4.
Does anybody want to, if you feel moved
Yes,
to
please,
stand,
please.
go ahead in body or in spirit, right? And on Zoom, if you feel moved to really sing, go ahead.
Not too fast, right? Somebody's hurting my brother, and it's gone on far too long. It's gone on far too long. It's gone on far too long. Somebody's hurting my brother, and it's been on far too long. And we won't be silent anymore. Whoa, somebody's hurting my sisters, and it's gone on far too long. It's gone on far too long. Oh, it's gone on far too long. Somebody's hurting my sisters, and it's gone on far too long. And we won't be silent anymore. Whoa, somebody's hurting my neighbors, and it's been on far too long. It's gone on far too long. Oh, it's gone on far too long. Somebody's hurting my neighbors, and it's gone on far too long. And we won't be silent anymore.
What else, Eli?
Yeah. Somebody's hurting our democracy, and it's gone on far too long. It's gone on far too long. Oh, it's gone on far too long. Oh, somebody's hurting our democracy, and it's gone on far too long. gone on far too long. It's gone on far too long. Oh, it's gone on far too long. Oh, someone there is hurt in our coffee. It's gone on far too long, and we won't be silent anymore. Let's get one more, ready?
What's else is happening, Eli?
Somebody's hurt in our safety, and it's gone on far too long. Oh, it's gone on far too long. It's gone on far too long. Oh, somebody's hurt in our safety, and it's gone on far too long, and we won't be silent anymore. Just our voices repeat, ready? And we won't be silent anymore. Great job.
Stay up, stay up, stay up. Thank you.
Right.
Awesome. You guys learned that one. That was awesome. Let's take that one just like the light and put it in the pocket, right? Let's take that song and put that in the pocket because it's part of the toolkit for working for democracy. Yeah, you can go ahead. This next part is a little bit unusual. We're going to take about 5 minutes right now in the middle of the worship service to be like Higgins, that drop of water, and to take one action. Just one action, because it can feel really hard to know what to do. Thank you. So we have 3 choices. For those of you on Zoom, I'm going to invite you to unmute in just a moment and take a moment very briefly to each person to share one thing that you are going to do after this worship service, one action that you want to take, if you're so moved. You can also sit in silence and reflect. If you're on YouTube, I want you to actually go and do one thing if you'd like. If you're here, we have 3 choices. Choice number 1, you can sit in your pew and turn to a neighbor and share about 2 minutes each. Tell them one thing that you care about very deeply, something that is at stake for you this election season, and then you can listen deeply as they tell you something that is at stake for them. And that's an action too, right? Anchoring in our hearts what we care about most. Option number 2, Susan Lithgow. Can you wave, Susan? She is going to be in the back with in the Women's Memorial Room with a stack of letters from Vote Forward, and she will explain how to write just one letter from Vote Forward, which is an initiative our congregation has been involved in. And option number 3, Reverend Pat is going to be up front, up here, sharing about the Power Interfaith Coalition, which is another initiative that our congregation is part of, the bus tour for democracy that the Power Interfaith Coalition is doing, and you can actually make a sign if you'd like, help make a collective sign for that. And then we will come, Alan will give us a musical cue, and it's time to come back after about 6 minutes, and we'll sing a closing hymn. And we're doing this in the worship service because this is sacred too. This is how we turn our attention to what is sacred. So go forth and choose, and then we'll come together to sing.
Is someone directing that?
Grab the sign. So people can make one of those signs.
Are you here to draw or to listen? Are you here to listen?
We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth.
We have just made offerings of our time and talent to the world. So now's the time in our service when we'll pass the plate and accept your monetary offerings. And you may also go to our website to make a donation online. A portion of our offering will be shared this month with Planned Parenthood Keystone. Before we pass the plate, let us read in unison the affirmation of faith. It's found in front of your hymnal, both in English and Spanish, right on the inside. And I believe it's also going to appear in the Zoom chat for those of you who are joining us on Zoom. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its gift. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, speak the truth in love, and to help one another.
El amor es el espíritu de esta iglesia, y el servicio es su ofrenda. Este es nuestro gran pacto, el convivir unidos en paz, el buscar la verdad en amor y ayudarnos unos a nosotros.
To begin to pass the plates. Thank you. And while the plates are being passed, I'm going to share some announcements. Do look to our weekly newsletter, the Love Letter, for weekly need-to-knows and events at UUCL, as well as our Facebook page and website calendar. To sign up for the newsletter, you can contact our office. Following today's Sunday service, the board is hosting coffee hour just outside the vestibule, and then a town hall will begin downstairs in Founders Hall at 11:30. In accord with our COVID policy, masks will be required during the town hall meeting. Pieces are still on display and for sale from the art show in Founders Hall and will be through November 6th. Please note there are several opportunities to volunteer on Sunday mornings. You can be a worship associate like me, be on the tech team, be a Zoom host, help with the Children's Faith Development Program, or host coffee hour. There is so much joy just waiting for you. Reverend Pat, Lenore, and Eli would love to help you find a way to help on Sunday mornings. Please note that next Sunday, October 30th, will be a special outdoor Samhain Remembrance service at our usual time of 10 a.m., and this will be held at Lancaster County Central Park, Pavilion 1, and will be led by Heather Guerin Rice. So do make sure to go directly to the park next week. The following Sunday, November 6th, following the service, we will have a soup and bread coffee hour, and then the ordination of Elizabeth Harlem Shuba, with a reception following that. So look to our next two love letters for sign-ups to help. We gratefully receive the generous gifts freely given and dedicate them to the work and aspirations of this congregation. And so please rise as you are able and sing what is now called Answering the Call of Love, number 1014. It is in the teal hymnal.
The promise of the Spirit, faithful and alive, and so every soul is blessed and made whole. The truth in our hearts is our guide. We are answering the call of love, and join together as hearts beat as one. Emboldened by faith, we take
the closing words. Thank you, Eli and Alan, for the whole morning. Lenore for singing too. I want to remind everybody that we're going to go straight and have some coffee and snacks and then go straight to the town hall, right? So afterwards, you all are usually so polite and are still enjoying the music at the end, but we're going to ask you to just go ahead and go on out the door. But so some words as we extinguish the chalice. These are words from Reverend J. Abernathy. We affirm that love is our greatest purpose. Accepting one another is the truest form of faithful living. The search for truth is our constant star. We pledge our hearts, minds, and hands to challenge injustice with courage, to find hope in times of fear, and to live out our Unitarian Universalist values every day as a beloved community. We are more than just one drop in the bucket. Thus do we covenant with each other and with all that is sacred in this life. May it be so. And go in joy, go in peace, go vote, go in love, and go to the town hall. May it be so.